Definitely a lot to enjoy, a lot to celebrate this weekend. Want to wish a happy Father's Day to, the dads here on the show, obviously, and then all the dads out there that are listening. One of the reasons that we love Dad so much is that no matter what the situation is, he's always there to offer advice. We actually had a chance to speak with retirement author Patrick Kelly about his father's advice, and here's what he said.
I remember being a kid, wanting to buy a computer. It was an Atari 400. This dates me a little bit, but it was on sale for this day only. And my dad said to me, this was not the only time he said this to me during my life. He said it over and over, and it was a great reminder. He said, Patrick, if you can find this on sale today, you will always find it on sale in the future. That has saved me so much money making rash purchases that I didn't necessarily need at the time because I was trying to get a sale on something. So it's allowed me to pause, think about it, and not ever feel like I have to do something immediately today or the deal is lost.
So, guys, what's the best financial advice that you ever got from your fathers?
Well, I think that advice Patrick Kelly got from his dad was pretty good advice.
I love that. I mean, think about that. How do you avoid a buying on emotion or something like that? An impulsive buy. That's great advice. I'm going to start using that. But I love to hear what Patrick said. That's awesome.
It makes me think about my purchase from Amazon earlier this week. I saw on the internet there was a heat press machine for shirts. And so my wife has got into doing a lot of the different crafting, and it was a good sale. So hopefully I got a good sale. But, I think we get so many wonderful lessons from, our parents. And I can think of, a couple of great examples. Number one, my, dad's best friend was a financial advisor and ultimately was the gentleman who got me into the industry when I was still in high school. So, through dad's relationship, that advice from his friend got me into the business. Thinking of the good advice that Dad gave me, I started investing in the stock market when I was 12 years old. So saving early, I would say, would be a good lesson I got. I also became a business owner. I've always been a business owner. I'm a veteran-owned business here, and I remember my dad telling me, either be the man or work for the man, and I chose to start my own business. So lots of good advices I think we get from our parents.
It's crazy. So my dad was a blue-collar worker and, worked at Chrysler. And the crazy thing, I never received any financial advice from my dad until after he got advice much, much later in these years. He was working in the 401ks and the pensions back in those days. He had a pension in that. But he never really started contributing to any 401ks or anything of that nature. I got an uncle that was in the banking industry, and he sat down and talked with my mom and dad and kind of got them into investing. And I'll never forget, my dad was sitting there, and we were all talking around the kitchen table, and they were saying, well, how much money should I contribute? And they said, well, put as much as you can afford to contribute and take advantage of the employer match. And, so I remember that. But one of the things, Dad was Santa Claus, and I've told this story many times. He passed away on Christmas Day. And Dad always told me to make sure you treat people right, be kind to people, and that'll always, you'll be rewarded far more than any monetary items can reward. So that was advice that my dad gave me.
I think one thing that sticks out to me, my dad, when I was a kid, I remember we were on a camping trip, and I used to collect baseball cards as a kid, and he said, if you find a guy that has a higher batting average than George Brett, I will give you this 50-cent piece. My dad knew nobody had a higher batting average than George Brett because he hit 390. The only card I would find would be a Ty Cobb card, and that'd be worth a whole lot of money. But I think what my dad was trying to do was just keep me busy and keep me away from the crowd but I did end up finding a card. It was a guy, he was like 1 for 2. So his batting average was 500. Okay. And I brought that back, and my dad was like, well, here's this 50-cent piece. Thinking about inflation, I wonder what that'd be worth today.
Sure.
My father, we've spoken about this before. My mom gave me the majority of the financial advice. My father, he really instilled in me, a first generation immigrant, served 23 years in the Army, a veteran, and just the importance of family and putting that forward and making sure that your family, your personal affairs are in order. In the same way as a father myself, one thing that my son has taught me, and kind of changing the script a little bit here, is the power of saying, I don't know. He asks a lot of questions. So many questions. and being able to say, I don't know, but let's find out the answer. So as you're listening to the show, as you're watching online or what have you, you may find out. We raise questions that you don't know the answer to, and that is okay. If you need that financial advice, if you need a little bit of insight into the situation, figure out how it works for you. The team at America's Retirement Headquarters, they're happy to share and impart that information and that knowledge with you, and hopefully give you a better understanding as you get into retirement. It all starts with picking up the phone and giving a call, 419-794-3030. That's 419-794-3030, or going to the website, and that is at arhq.com.